Yeah, Sunday is usually a day of rest for most people. It kind of is and isn't for me, but that's another story. When I was thinking about reading again from the Science of Mind Daily Guides for today, we've been reading it for 9 straight days now. And Reverend Michelle's messages are good, they're uplifting. And I thought, maybe it's time for a change today. But then I read the message. I read quite a bit of other things in the Science of Mind magazine this afternoon, actually. And I was looking to think, well, is there something else in here that would kind of give us a break from this message of self-worth, self-love? And then I saw the title was Self-Worth, Self-Love, and I read it and I thought, no, I really need to read this today. But one of these days shortly, yeah, I'll take a break and I'll read something else. But I think the message is good, even though, well, you'll see when I read it. Okay. Self-worth is self-love. First quote is from someone I think all of you have heard of, local Houstonian Brene Brown. You are worthy of love and belonging. You are worthy of joy. You are worthy of happiness. You are worthy of love and belonging. You're worthy of joy, and you're worthy of happiness. Brene Brown. And Ernest Holmes, who's sometimes not altogether straightforward, but I guess he is here. The road to self-discovery, well, it often calls for a clearing away of the underbrush of ignorance, fear, superstition, and a sense of isolation that make us feel that we're unworthy, unheld, and lost. And that's from a Holmes Reader on Meaning, page 35, paragraph 1. And this is Reverend Michelle. We have to know and confront our stories of self-worth if they're negative in any way. When we have a sense of worthlessness at our core, the law acts on this self-awareness. Yeah, I'll come back to this. We get and experience exactly what we think we deserve. The law of mind responds by co-responding. When we find ourselves experiencing things and conditions that are not born out of abundance, joy, or love, well, we're likely experiencing some patterns of unworthiness that are operating within our consciousness. So what does this mean? It means we must be willing to challenge those patterns and to let them go. Have you noticed, as I keep saying that, Reverend Michelle? For some of us, even taking these 31 days to repeat these instructions over and over and doing them for 31 straight days will just be a start in finding and addressing those patterns. We've habitually made agreements with unworthiness for so long that we feel like they are comfortable patterns. They're like a well-worn soft shirt that may be torn up and may smell a little rank, yet it's familiar. And we sometimes prefer what's familiar over what might genuinely serve us. Giving up this familiar way of being can feel confronting and challenging. At some point, we say that arguing for unworthiness just keeps us stuck and living small and unhappy lives. We must argue for our worth. We must shift our awareness to a perspective that embraces the deep truth that we are worthy of all good, simply because we exist. Well, I don't know too many people who are way off of the spectrum of respecting themselves in the sense that Reverend Michelle points out today. Yeah, I know a couple of people who are habitually attracting everything they don't want. And it's true, if they were to examine their words, and I'm assuming their words reflect their thoughts going on in their head, then you can kind of understand why they keep getting lots and lots of things that they don't want. And if you listen to them speak, you can hear their words reflecting, as I've just said, their consciousness, bring about what they don't want. And that's what Reverend Michelle was saying here. She says, we get and experience exactly what we think we deserve. The law of mind responds by co-responding. So in other words, if you think negative thoughts all day long and you expect negative things to happen to you, then it shouldn't really be surprising that negative things do happen. Conversely, if you think positive thoughts all day, then you can expect positive things to happen. Some people say, well, I know somebody and they're very positive. They always talk positive, but all this stuff happens to them. But the real truth is this: you don't know what's going on in their consciousness. You just don't know. Whatever they speak and think are different things. It may be the same, but by and large, if what they're speaking is different than what they're experiencing, then what they're thinking equates to what they're experiencing. Remember, belief is thought plus feeling, and it's done unto you as you believe. Jesus and many other great teachers told us it's done unto you as you believe. It's not done unto you as you think. It's not done unto you as you feel. It's done unto you as you think and feel. And it's done unto you in accordance with what's really going on in your mind, because we've all taken on a lot of negative stuff throughout our lives. And the longer we live, I guess the more opportunity we have to take care of, to get a lot of negative stuff coming in, which is all the more reason why people like Reverend Michelle and Reverend Dr. Jesse Jennings, our senior minister, this morning, and my colleague Lisa Ryan, when she did the closing treatment for our service this morning, remind people, it's done at you as you believe, and change your thinking, change your life. Speaking of which, in January, we will be starting what we call a foundation course. This one is called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. It's going to start in the second week in January. I know it's a long way off. And I'll be teaching it with one of our practitioners. So if you want to learn more about how we do spiritual mind treatment, how we believe, and what we believe, and how that really is based on great teachers like Jesus, then yeah, it's pretty good. If you really do want to change your thinking and change your life, it's a pretty good program. So having plugged that, but it's months and months away, I know, but I just thought I'd put the idea out there. But the bottom line is, what we're thinking at a subconscious level is really impacting us all day, every day. And when we start doing positive stuff like positive affirmations, spiritual mind treatments, quiet time, just being present, and then repeating these affirmations, we start to change those subconscious patterns into positive patterns. And that's when we start to change what happens in our life. Because oftentimes something happens, it seems to come out of the blue. But when we go in and self-analyze, we find, wow, yeah, when I think about it, way back when, this is what they told me to expect. And it went in your subconscious as a kid and it never came out. So the way to do it is to override them. So, hey, that's my preaching for today. I'm not going to preach anymore. I recognize and embrace my inherent worthiness. I recognize and embrace my inherent worthiness. So that's my story for today. That's Reverend Michelle's story for today. That's a good affirmation. I recognize and embrace my inherent worthiness. That is foundational. I mean, it really is a foundational affirmation. And it's something, maybe I should just go on TikTok and do like a minute and really emphasize that. I recognize and embrace my inherent worthiness. So, as I always mention, Reverend Lisa, my colleague, will be on tomorrow morning at 9:15 on Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page. And I'll be back on whatever social media you saw me, hopefully around about 5 p.m. However, I'm doing a Child Protective Services mediation tomorrow, which you never know. what time it'll finish. And you also never know how many people are involved. The last one involved 16 people. So there we are. So until next time, please take care of yourselves, especially if you're around here or anywhere where there's a lot of hot weather, where there's any kind of adverse weather. And having taken care of yourself, you can take care of others. So until next time, truly, truly, namaste.